Hi, creators. Doro Kiley here, and it's been a couple of weeks, I think, since I have done a video. The reason for that is I have just launched my new website. Been working on it for a couple of weeks. I'd love for you to visit it, creationcoach.com. So let's see. Today's question is, what's real? Isn't this a great question? I've probably done a couple of videos on this in the past. But let's look at what's coming up for me right now. Um, I think real. I think nothing is real. Nothing that we can perceive is real. And the reason I am quite in resonance with that is because everything changes. Even the sun will die, right? Eckhart Tolle did a book. Everything changes. Everything in form changes. So what's real? I love to have the analogy of electricity that's coming into your house doesn't do anything. It does absolutely nothing until it is given a way of expressing itself through a toaster or a refrigerator or any electrical appliance. Um, until that happens, the actual electricity is nothing except power. Um, so, in my view, and I think many Eastern religious views, that energy behind everything is conscious. It has the only agenda it has is to experience what it can become. In evolution, everything is just, you know, expanding and learning and experiments and growing. And so the force behind that is what I would call real. Everything else is transient. Thinking in terms of an apple on a tree, and then you have the leaves and the branches and the tree and the trunk and the roots and the earth. And the apple is us, right? And we just come and go. We just come in and we go out, and even the tree. Okay, we can say, well, the tree is our entire family history. We all come from this tree. Well, even that tree is going to age out and pass away, but it has left, more trees to grow. So what's behind it, that force that's causing it to grow, is what I would say is real. The apple is only relatively real. Everything is relatively real except for that force, that push, that energy, that electricity, conscious electricity behind it that's pushing onward for more and more experiences and discovery of what it can become. So if we base our identity on what? What are we identifying with as real? But I think real, as we want to define it, usually is based on how long it lasts, how intense it is, how solid it is. So what does that mean? So the duration. Okay, so for us, you could say, what's real? People might say, well, the sun is shining. Okay, that's true, but not infinitely true. It's the sun will die, so that comes and goes. Um, the intensity might feel very real of certain things. High volume. These are all intense experiences. Blinding light. Anything that feels intense. Your spouse cheats on you. Is that real? Those are all passing. Everything that's passing is only relatively real. So it's the force consciousness pushing it forward is what I would say is real. So how does this relate to how does this relate to the world out there in reality? I want to bring up the question, and I just had a conversation with my sister about this, how some people are so lost, and and we were talking specifically about the problem young girls are having right now. I mean, the things that are a problem in the world are a lot right now, but we were talking about young girls and their self-image and how unreal that seems. I mean, poor girls, some of them get teased and bullied, oh, your eyebrows are just so ugly. What's wrong with you? How can you show your face in public? And it's so not real, but for the girls being bullied, this is very real. How do we get around that? How can we work with that? I think I think another place where it's showing up a lot in the world is blaming. The whole point of blaming, bullying, politics these days is just atrocious. It's these are not wise leaders. These are just people who know how to use the tools of blame and manipulation. And so we've got to come up with a better way to to choose people that we want to put in positions of power. I think that's a huge topic. But anyway, so what's real? I think to overcome these problems, we have to look for people that are willing to ask big questions like why. So that's one of the biggest questions there is. And for a girl who's suffering, being bullied because of her eyebrows or something, what is she supposed to do with this? Where can she go? I mean, it would actually require a degree of such fearlessness because peer pressure is enormous. Feeling abandoned is enormous. Being exiled used to be one of the worst punishments in human history because you're not even human, but in animal cultures too. An animal, sometimes very often a young juvenile male who's been making trouble gets exiled from the tribe or the pride or whatever group it was in. So that kind of rejection is devastating. And yet we feel it so primordially. How can we approach this in a way that is authentic and true, relatively, and not add to the problem? I think bringing up the issue is important, any issue. Why are our leaders only blaming each other instead of asking why? Being curious is a requirement, I think, to gain wisdom. Why are you like that? Why are you saying that? Why are you doing this? And not in a accusatory way, but in a curious way. As Charles Eisenstein would say, wow, what's it like to be you? Out of a genuine sense of wanting to know. You can say the same words in a sarcastic way. So gosh, what's it like to be you? That's a whole different energy. To authentically be curious and look for answers. At the bottom of all of us, there is a lot that is the same. And I would refer to Marshall Rosenberg's work, Nonviolent Communication. He has a list, and I think it's on my website under free support materials, a list for NVC documents there describing universal needs, basic universal needs that are in all of us. The need to be respected, the need to be, well, you've got your hierarchy of needs, right? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So you've got your need for oxygen and shelter and all that. But beyond that, we all have more subtle needs like need to be heard. You want to be heard. You want to be understood. So there's a very good long list. I should have pulled it up before sitting down here, but you can check it out on my website under free support materials. We all have basic universal needs, and when we're dealing with other people, we should at least feel like we have the freedom to ask why. Why are you saying that? What need is it that you are not getting met that you need to say that? So it's a very deep subject, I'd say the least. But I'm thinking somehow this all can tie into keeping in mind that everything is changing, everything is relative, nothing is really, really real, except for how it makes us feel. That becomes our reality. And if we want to change from this blame, accusatory, finger pointing, insulting mindset, which is so low on the scale, to start asking why. Why are you saying that? Why are you being like this? Why are you doing that? Until we can get down to the reason. And the reason is going to be some unmet, universal human need. The need for belonging, the need for entertainment, the need for boosting yourself in your own circle of friends. So to identify the need that's unmet is a basic place for getting as close as possible to what's real in our human experience. And I think if we could come up with a way of having people, not rulers controlling things, but have more people willing to be authentic, answering the real questions with more and more wisdom to help guide us. We need stronger voices out there. So that's it. I wanted to bring that up. That's what's real. Nothing is real, but there are relative realities, and the closer we get to our basic universal needs, which are kind of primordial human needs. Of course, all animals have their needs, but those are as relative reality, as far as relative reality goes, that's as close, I think, as we can get to being authentic, to really identifying our universal basic needs. And that is the work of Marshall Rosenberg. Highly recommend him, Nonviolent Communication. And with that, stay creative.